saranang gacchami, Dhammam saranang gacchami, Sangham saranang gacchami. Friends, let's all study, investigate and practice the real words of the Buddha. Real words of the Buddha. Real words of the Buddha is what we call the original teachings of the Buddha. Early discourses of the Buddha. In the early discourses of the Buddha, we can read, we can investigate, we can understand the very words of the Buddha, the real words of the Buddha. What we are talking during this session is the real words of the Buddha. We select different discourses from the original teachings and discuss here. Tonight we have a very, very special discourse from the connected discourses of the Buddha. Chapter 12, the discourse number 61. The name of the discourse is Uninstructed. Uninstructed. This is our Dhamma talk number 57. Tonight our palatable topic is take this body as mine, but not the mind. You can take this body as yours. This is mine, this is mine, this is me, this is myself, like that. The people, as worldlings, they all the time they want to cling to this body as mine. Buddha said it is quite all right even to take that body as mine. But the people, not only mine, they want to take this mind as mine. This mind is not mine. That is how we have to understand. So the Buddha said, do not take this mind as mine. Let's understand this discourse. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. So, there, as the Buddha was dwelling at that particular monastery, Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park, Buddha addressed the monks and said, Bhikkhus, that is the way the Buddha addressed the monks. Why the Buddha addressed the monks all the time as he gave these talks? Because monks were there all the time with him. Though he addressed the monks, simply saying monks, it is not necessarily only for the monks. The teaching of the Buddha is for all of us, for all monks, nuns, laymen and laywomen, for all of us. So the Buddha gave this discourse too for all of us, not only for monks. Though Buddha addressed bhikkhus, the uninstructed worldling, uninstructed is to be understood. Uninstructed worldlings, who is that? Untaught. Uninstructed means untaught. Average person. Run-of-the-mill person. Average person, normal person, worldly person, worldling might experience revulsion. Revulsion is that this term, I am not agree with this term. This translation, as I see, is bit not that correct. I prefer to use disenchantment, revulsion, instead revulsion. So, uninstructed worldling might experience disenchantment towards this body, composed of the four great elements. So this body is composed with the four elements. What are the four elements? Earth, water, fire and air. These four. And he might become dispassionate towards it. Dispassionate, not passionate, dispassionate. He might become dispassionate towards it and be liberated from it. Even he can liberate from this body. It is easy for him to liberate from this body, dispassionate from this body, disenchant from this body, disenchantment towards this body. And he might become dispassionate from this body, and he might, it may be liberated from this body. For what reason? Buddha question. For what reason? Because growth and decline are seen in this body composed of the four great elements. There you can see the growth of this body. This body is growing. And you can see decaying of this body. Wearing, torn parts of the body. You can see this body. And then you become sort of disenchanted. Means you can understand that this is meaningless. What is the purpose of maintaining this body? Like that, you can disenchant of this body. It is seen as being taken up and laid aside. By seeing all these worldlings, they can disenchant, dispassionate towards this body. Therefore, the uninstructed worldling might experience revulsion, disenchantment towards this body composed of the four great elements. He might become dispassionate towards it and be liberated from it. But bhikkhus, the Buddha says, but bhikkhus, as to that which is called mind and mentality and consciousness. I am not agree with this translation. That is not in accordance with the Pali terms. These are the Pali terms. Referring to the mind, Buddha dissected this body and the mind. As the Buddha dissected this mind, Buddha said, there are three aspects of mind. Three aspects of mind. For the three aspects, the Buddha used three different terms: Chitta, Mano, and Vijnana. Chitta is not mind. Chitta is consciousness. Mano is mind. Vijnana is again consciousness. That is the problem of the language. In English, you don't find three different terms to explain the nature of this mind. That is the problem in the language. Buddha used three different terms, but we have only two terms to explain this mind. What are the two terms? Mind and consciousness. To explain Chitta, to explain the first one and the last one, first one and the third one, in English we use the term consciousness. The second one, Mano. For Mano, we use the word mind. When the mind is connected to our heart, it is called Chitta, where we use the word consciousness. When the mind is connected to our brain, we call it mind, Mano. Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. The Buddha said, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. Mind is the forerunner. Mind. That is Mano. Then Vijnana. We have 6 classes of consciousness. Six classes of consciousness. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and the mind consciousness. Those are 6, not 6 consciousness, but 6 classes of consciousness. When the consciousness is connected to these different senses, it takes that particular name. For instance, when the consciousness is connected to eye, it is called eye consciousness. When the consciousness is connected to ear, it is called ear consciousness. When the consciousness is connected to nose, it is called nose consciousness. When the consciousness is connected to tongue, it is called tongue consciousness. When the consciousness is connected to body, it is called body consciousness. When the consciousness is connected to mind, it is called mind consciousness. In such a way, there are 6 classes of consciousness. So, mentality is not mind. Mentality means some qualities of the mind. Mentality. Buddha clearly said what mentality is. There are 5 different things, 5 different qualities to represent mentality. What are the 5? Feeling, perception, volitional formation, contact, and attention. For all these 5, the Buddha used the term Nama. That is in Pali, Nama. Nama means mentality. So the uninstructed worldling is unable to experience disenchantment towards it. Towards what? Towards mind. So uninstructed, this worldly, average person, worldly person cannot experience disenchantment, revulsion towards mind. That is the teaching. He can experience disenchantment, revulsion, nibbida in Pali, towards this body, but not the mind. Unable to become dispassionate towards it and be liberated, unable to be liberated from it. From what? From mind. So liberation for the worldly person, liberation from mind is impossible. For the uninstructed, untaught, worldly person cannot be liberated from this mind. That is the teaching. For what reason? Buddha says, for what reason? What is the reason? Because for a long time this has been held to by him, appropriated and grasped thus. He has grasped this mind. This mind, he has grasped this mind for a long time. Who? The worldly person. He has grasped this mind as this is mine. This is mine. This I am. This is myself. That is how he grasped this. This is mine. This is mine. This I am. This is myself. That is the problem. That is why he cannot escape, cannot be liberated from this mind because of that grasping. That is what is happening whenever we have thoughts. Whenever we have thoughts through these six sense bases, through the six senses, whenever we have thoughts, where we grasp that thought, we grasp this thought means five aggregates. We grasp these five aggregates as mine, I am, this is myself. This is mine, this I am, this is myself. That is, in other words, craving. Craving leads to attachment. It is because of craving we have attachment. Buddha said, tanha pacca upadana. Tanha pacca upadana means depend on craving, attachment arises. It is because of this reason the worldling, the worldly person, average person cannot be liberated from this mind. That is the Buddha. That is the teaching of the Buddha. Therefore, the uninstructed worldling is unable to experience revulsion, disenchantment towards it, unable to become dispassionate towards it and be liberated from it. Unable. It is impossible. Impossible. That is why, in order to understand, in order to be liberated, one has to become an instructed person. Instructed person, not uninstructed. Arya, noble person. Arya, noble person. Buddha says, it would be better, bhikkhus, for the uninstructed worldling to take as self this body. Not only that problem, the worldlings, not only he grasps as this is mine, this I am, this is myself. This is myself is the problem now. When the worldly person grasps this thought, grasps these 5 aggregates as myself, grasp this body, grasp this mind as myself. So the Buddha says, it would be better for the uninstructed worldling to take as self this body. It is all right for him to take this body as myself if he wants to, which is composed of the 4 great elements, rather than the mind. It is very clear here that this mind is not composed with 4 elements. For what reason? Because this body, composed of the 4 great elements, is seen standing for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3, for 4, 5, for 10 years, for 20, 30, 40, or 50 years, for 100 years even, or even longer, even more. You can see this body is standing. You can see the person is living for years, but this mind is changing rapidly, quickly changing. That is the meaning here. But that which is called mind, mentality and consciousness, that is this translation is here. As I said, the translation, we have no 3 different terms to explain the 3 different terms used by the Buddha as Chitta, Mano, Vijnana. We have no 3 different terms in English. In English, we have only two terms, mind and consciousness, to explain the mind. So, whatever the term we use, what is called mind or consciousness, which arises as one thing and ceases as another by day and by night. That is the problem. That is the problem. This consciousness arises as one thing and ceases as another. That means quickly, it is quickly changing. It's quickly changing, not like this body. The body you can see for years. For years. Like even some people live for 100 years. 100 and more even. But this body quickly changing, rapidly changing. It arises as one thing and ceases as another by day and by night. All the time this consciousness, our mind is changing. That rapidity of changing is quite impossible to count. Impossible. It is considered as the fastest energy in the world. Mind is the fastest energy because the rapidity is that fast. Just as a monk, Buddha gives us a very interesting simile. Just as a monkey roaming through a forest grabs hold of one branch, lets that go and grabs another. Then lets that go and grabs still another. Just like that, just like the monkey, jumping from one branch to another, grasping one branch to then leave it, let it go, and then grab another, just like the monkey. So where does this monkey jump in this body? This monkey is the mind. That monkey jumps from eye to ear, ear to nose, nose to tongue, tongue to body, body to mind. Not in a particular order. This monkey mind has no order. It has different places to jump. 6 different places, 6 different branches to grab. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and the mind. Without any particular order, this monkey mind jumps from branch to branch quickly. Sometimes people misunderstandingly think that they are doing what you call multitask, thinking that they are doing 2 things together. No, this monkey cannot jump 2 places together. This monkey jumps only one and grab only one branch at a time. So just like the monkey, this mind, that is why it is called monkey mind. So too that which is called mind and mentality and consciousness arises as one thing and ceases as another by day and by night. Therefore, because the instructed noble disciple, that is the one to be. Who's that? Instructed noble disciple. One has to become an instructed noble disciple. Sutava Arya Savako in Pali. Instructed means the one who has listened to the Dhamma, who has studied the Dhamma, who has investigated the Dhamma, who knows the Dhamma. One has to become the knower of the Dhamma, the one who knows and sees the Dhamma. That is what is called the noble disciple, instructed noble disciple. He or she attends closely and carefully to dependent origination. Dependent origination. Yeah, he understands things interdependently, cause and effect. With that understanding, he understands the Dhamma interdependently. Things are existing interdependently, not independently. Nothing exists independently. He understands things as when this exists, that comes to be. When this comes to be. That is the way. With the arising of this arises, that arises. When this does not arise, that when this does not exist, that does not come to be. With the cessation of this, that ceases. That is the principle of the dependent origination. This is what is called the principle of the dependent origination. In such a way, the instructed noble disciple sees things interdependently. Things come to be with the support of other things, with the cause and effect. That is what is called causality. The Buddha taught this causality, dependent origination, how it is arising and how it is ceasing. The arising nature of the dependent origination. The arising, the causes, this causal condition is dependent on ignorance. Ignorance. Buddha said, dependent on ignorance, volitional formations arise. Volitional formations. What are the volitional formations? There are wholesome volitional formation, unwholesome volitional formations, and jhanic, imperturbable volitional formation. And there is another group which is breathless volitional formation. Then thinking and examining are volitional formation. And feeling and perception, these are called volitional formations. Sankhara. All these are called sankhara. All these volitional formations come to be because of ignorance. Ignorance is the main cause. Where are they? In the eye, in the ear, in the nose, in the tongue, in the body, in the mind. Not in the library, not on your bookshelves, not in the books, but in the six senses. We have to see this dependent origination. The origination and the cessation both are to be seen within the six sense bases. Now the Buddha said, dependent on ignorance, volitional formations arise. Dependent on volitional formations, consciousness arises. Dependent on consciousness, mentality and materiality arise. Dependent on mentality, mentality and materiality, the sixfold base arises. Dependent on the sixfold base, contact arises. Dependent on contact, feeling arises. Dependent on feeling, craving arises. Dependent on craving, clinging arises. Dependent on clinging, becoming arises. Dependent on becoming, birth arises. Dependent on birth, aging and death arise, and sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief and despair. Thus, this is the arising of the whole mass of suffering. In such a way, the whole mass of suffering arises. All these are because of causes. Without causes, nothing happens. So that is the arising nature of things. That is what is called dependent origination. That is the origination of dukkha, origination of suffering. Then the Buddha pointed out the cessation of suffering as well. The Buddha said, through the entire cessation of this ignorance as the cause, through the entire cessation of this ignorance, volitional formations cease. Through the cessation of volitional formations, consciousness ceases. Through the cessation of consciousness, mentality and materiality cease. Through the cessation of mentality and materiality, the sixfold base ceases. Through the cessation of sixfold base, contact ceases. Through the cessation of contact, feeling ceases. Through the cessation of feeling, craving ceases. Through the cessation of craving, clinging ceases. Through the cessation of clinging, becoming ceases. Through the cessation of becoming, birth ceases. Through the cessation of birth, aging and death cease, and sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief and despair. Thus, this is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. That is the arising nature of suffering and the passing nature of suffering. That is how the instructed noble disciple sees interdependently, sees in accordance with cause and effect, in accordance with causality. Buddha said, seen thus, bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple experiences disenchantment, revulsion towards form. Towards form. What is form? Form is not this body. Form means form of the five aggregates, which is in the eye. Eye, form of sounds, form of smell, form of taste, form of tangible, form of Dhamma, mental, mind. 6 classes of form. So he experiences revulsion towards form, revulsion towards feeling. Again, feelings are also sixfold. 6 types of feelings. Towards feeling, towards towards perception. Perceptions are also sixfold. Then towards volitional formations. Volitional formations are also sixfold. 6 classes of volitional formations. Then towards consciousness. Consciousness is also sixfold. So that means in the 6 sense bases, 5 aggregates are arising, passing, arising, passing, arising, passing. Thus, the instructed noble disciple give attention, being mindful, understand these 5 aggregates whenever they arise. They do not cling to these 5 aggregates as mine, me, myself. This is mine, this I am, this is myself. Like that, he does not grasp this. There, he cuts off craving. Cessation of craving itself is the attainment of enlightenment. Complete cessation of defilements, taints. He or she becomes a person with taints free. No taints. No taints. He becomes a taintless person. With that revulsion consciousness experience in revulsion, he becomes dispassionate to dispassions. His mind is liberated. He is liberated. He is liberated means not this body, but his mind is liberated. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge, it is liberated. It is liberated, not I am liberated. He understands destroyed is birth, finished. No more birth in samsara. The holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. No more way to come. Finished. His samsaric journey is over. He is the liberated one, the enlightened one, the supremely enlightened one, perfect person, perfectly enlightened person. This is the way. This is the way to understand. This is the way to practice. This is what the Buddha taught us. Friends, let's all understand this wonderful teachings of the Buddha and practice this Dhamma so that we can understand, we can see through, we can realize this Dhamma in this very world. May we all realize this real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu.